I'm Tesla. I'm a 25-year-old in Texas on a single income with no dependents, and I'm going to review my September budget and go over everything that I spent. September was a mess. It was a really stressful time. In between getting my old roommate out, cleaning up after her, my car got totaled, and I had one weekend to find a new used car. And I think there were so many other things going on that I didn't even mention that someone spray painted my rental car. So I was freaking out and I had to get someone to help me to fix that before I returned it. You know, you've had a busy month when you forget to mention that you've had a crime committed against you. But I don't really want to talk about it anymore. Like after this video, I can just forget about September. And that's why I filmed my October video first, because if I had been thinking about September in the middle of my October video, it would have spoiled my mood. So I do all of my expense tracking inside of YNAB, but then whenever I have my final transactions tallied, compare like what my budgeted numbers were to my actual transaction numbers. And then I can see what I spent by paycheck, or I can see it by month. So this is probably the sheet we're going to spend most time in. So in October, I made $6,344.78. And that sounds like a super high figure because it's obviously so much more than I usually get. And that's because when my car got totaled, my insurance paid me out to get a new car. And I was able to keep $1,756.75 of it because they gave me almost $12,000, but my car cost $10,000. At the beginning of the month, I had no idea I would need this money, obviously, but by my second paycheck, I knew it was coming, so I budgeted for it, which is why the difference is pretty close. I made just a little bit more in my salary because my 7% raise kicked in. I made almost $63 in interest. I have one account that pays me 4% interest and another that pays 2.15%. I helped a client write some networking emails, and that came out to $27. I made $40.43 in cash back. I guess I was expecting a little more for some reason, but I used Upside and Ibotta, and that's probably where that money came from. I had $125 in rollover money from the previous month, so it is not new income. And I normally don't like to roll any money over. I like to put anything extra into savings, and then that way all my YNAB categories just zero out, but it's fine. And then lastly, someone paid me back $7.67. So that's how much I made, and then I always start off with my credit card. I paid off one of my cards in August, I think, so that's going to be zero going forward. The interest-free period ended, so I decided not to use it anymore past the promotional period, but I haven't closed the card. One of the best parts of YNAB and why it's worth the value of the $100 a year is it calculates all my credit card payments for me. Like it just tells me how much I need to add extra towards it to meet all my payments every month for the year. At the beginning of the month, it told me to put $58.47, but by the end of the month, it wanted me to put $69, so that is what I did. That is only like 1% of my overall income. Investing felt a little tougher in September because even though my roommate stayed until the 8th or something like that, out of kindness, I did not charge her prorated rent, which was honestly a terrible idea because she was so rude and inconsiderate the entire time. I should have just taken the extra $160 or whatever it would have been, but so since I'm not splitting expenses at all this month, it's just been a little bit of stretch on my income, but I did not want to invest any less than I already do because first of all, I just wanted to see if I could be consistent and keep it up at that level. And also at the beginning of the year, I kind of said like my investing goal is going to be non-negotiable. So it stayed at $1,300 contribution, and that ended up being 19.4% of my income. My savings, or as I also call them, my sinking funds, I'm glad that I can at least be proud of my investing because savings was a doozy. I thought because I came under in my car purchase, I'd be able to pocket that extra money, but it was not turning out that way. I am negative $272.53, some for major repairs, and then some I wasn't able to replenish for my month ahead. It'll just be easier if I go through my expenses first. I came in $84 under in my groceries budget, which was good because I mostly just got basics. Even though I'm under budget, when I compare how much groceries I actually have for $136.65, it is not that much. I know everyone's complaining about inflation, but I guess because I've been eating out so much and not really cooking at home, I haven't really been paying attention to how much groceries have gone up. But you know, it is what it is. So for transportation, my car got totaled in a flash flood, which I talked about before. So in here, I grouped the new car and regular transportation together, but in YNAB, the way that I handled it was I put a new car category. I had to pay for my car out of my own pocket at first until my insurance paid me through. So any expenses I just put them all here. And then as soon as insurance paid me, I also put it to the same category, so it zeroed out. But there were still other expenses like registration and inspection, and that came to an even $150. So when I combine that and transportation, it is $627.93. And that is like $351 over budget. I had estimated a much lower transportation, I think because I was going out of town for a family reunion and not expecting to drive myself around or something. I'm not sure why I thought it would be so much lower. But anyway, it needed to be done, and I'm okay with being over budget in this area. Because things, life happens. It's okay. Things happen. I spent like basically $30 on personal care, hand sanitizer, deodorant. I think when I went to my family reunion, someone had a cold or maybe some germs because I needed to buy some medicine because my immune system was a little bit down. I think I was over budget a little bit, yeah, by like almost $5 or something, but it's always necessities and basics, so whatever. It's really home care that just takes the cake in expenses this month and almost every month. I spent $2,229.66 on home care. I knew September was going to be an expensive month between buying cleaning supplies, replacing things that had been damaged or broken, such and such. I budgeted $540 thinking that was a lot to spend on home care, but I was over budget by $1,689.66. I'm not going to talk about the basic house stuff that I've mentioned in my previous videos, like spending $600 on the fridge or the guest bedroom stuff. What's new and unexpected and really put me over the top is that my kitchen outlets stopped working and I couldn't fix it, so I called the Mr. Sparky company. And normally when it comes to home repairs, I go on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, and I kind of hire like affordable but also like kind of sketchy people. But the wiring in my house is an important thing, and I don't want that to be done improperly. And also, I tried to get those cheap online people who claim to know electrical work, but then like they would ditch me and not come out. So like now these random men on the internet just have my home address and my name, and who knows if they're even electricians. But anyway, the actual electrician said they could come out to fix it the same day. And, I'm thinking like, well, this sucks because I know I'm going to get overcharged, but it should be $600 at most. And maybe it'll be a small issue and like it won't even have to be beyond the quote, because like they'll charge you to give you a quote. But he gets here and he sees that things were not wired the way that they should be, like things are connected in weird ways. And then what if that caused a shortage? And then if it didn't get fixed, the shortage would keep happening to the point where it couldn't get fixed. And I think the reason it wasn't up to code is because when I had to renovate my house last year after the freeze like caused my whole house to flood, is that insurance did not give me very much money to fix my house. Like they've given me more money for my car than they have for my house, which is kind of crazy. But so I just had to work with what little money they gave me. And so, Facebook Marketplace, that's how I found the guys that renovated my kitchen. And apparently they did not leave things up to code. So he had to like rewire things, mess with my breaker, all said and done for like 2 hours worth of his time. It cost $1,419.60. It was a very hard pill to swallow. I still think I was way overcharged, and I thought about getting a second opinion, getting it done cheaper. But then it's like, well, me hiring uncertified strangers, like that's what gets me into trouble in the first place. And if I don't fix it then, it's going to take longer to find someone. And then the longer that I don't have a functional kitchen, the more I'm going to keep spending on food. So I just bit the bullet and I paid it on my credit card. Thank goodness I had the extra insurance money and that I didn't invest it right away or, go on a shopping spree. Not that I was thinking about going on a shopping spree, but, like it's just good to sit on larger inflows of money because you never know when something is going to come up. And when you're a homeowner, something always comes up. And I guess I have more peace of mind that I'm up to code because the last thing I would ever need is like some kind of kitchen fire. And it turns out that if someone does work on your kitchen and they're not certified and your kitchen isn't up to code, insurance may not have to help you because things weren't done properly. So at least if something still does happen, which I don't think it will, but at least I won't be fighting with my home insurance because it is like up to code now. And the last thing that's just like a small expense, but also I didn't budget for because when they took my totaled car away, they took it really far away, like 70 miles from my house. It was hard to get a hold of the company that had my car for me to go and get it. So they just basically kept all of my personal belongings that were in the car at the time that it got totaled. And that includes my garage door opener, so I needed to get a new one. All this extra stuff in home care, like that is exactly why I am negative in my savings. I spent $1,517.27 on bills, and that was about $103 under budget, which is always nice, and I hope my bills continue to decline. But these were all of my basic expenses. That is $4,541.34, which is so much higher than usual. But I was able to cover everything from my income and my savings. So when I go down to lifestyle expenses, here you are going to see some negatives, but they're yellow, meaning it's credit card debt. For dining out, I had budgeted $168.09, and I spent $205.35, which is about $37 over. I consider that pretty close to making it, honestly, but somehow I forgot most of the people in my families are Virgos, like my mom, my sister, my cousins, my aunts, like everybody's birthday is in September. With all those birthdays, I treated myself and some relatives to some meals and things, and that's why I'm over. Because if I bought, let's say, a relative a meal, what I do is I just took the ticket, I divided it by 2, and then half of it would go into giving, and then half of it would go into my own dining out, because we both enjoyed the meal. I knew their birthdays were coming up, but I guess I'm not used to getting things for people or treating people. So I took all the birthdays that are in my Google Calendar and I've put them as scheduled transactions in YNAB in the future. So next year I can actually remember to budget higher in September. For appearance, every month or so I get my face threaded because I'm not only Latina, but my mom chose the hairiest man on earth. So regular hair removal, it's just part of my generational curse. Now, on Fun Money, I had budgeted $50 and I was really close to being on budget. I was $7.47 away from hitting it. I took someone to see The Woman King as part of their birthday thing. So my ticket goes under Fun Money, their half of the ticket goes under giving. And then the other thing is I bought 2 tickets to a play in November. With America being on the verge of societal collapse and humanity pushing Earth towards a slow, painful death, I need something I can look forward to every month. And so far, that's just been artsy things. And this play is described as let me read this, a romantic comedy / horror / old school thriller about a first date that spirals into a race against an invading force. This premiere explores new beginnings at the end of the world. And then I looked at the reviews and it said it was a combination of the movie Get Out and a series called The Rain. So anything that's comparable to anything Jordan Peele does, you can count me in. And then giving, I am basically $85 over because I spent $135 on gifts, dinners, giving money away on GoFundMe. I try to always do at least $50. So let me show you actually here. So the thing about giving is some of it's on my credit card, and I know it's the credit card float if I'm not covering it, but it's an interest-free card until April, and it's if I don't have any consequences, why should I pay it right now? Because I have enough in savings to pay off my card anytime I want to. I can pay it off on any whim, whenever. So it's I just don't want to yet. If I have the option to wait, I kind of just want to wait. So same thing with lending. I mean, normally I do really try to cover it in full, but given everything else I had to pay for, I spent more on basic expenses in September than I usually even make in a month. So I'm if I need to get myself an extra meal out, if I need to give a relative or a friend something for their birthday, or if someone needs me to lend them money, on a card or something, I'll just let it hang. And I know I'm going to be paid off by April anyway. So it's just, it's fine. In fact, normally I don't cover lending at all. I normally leave this zero, but someone needed $200 in cash. And whenever it is in cash, you can't just let it hang there. You do have to cover it from savings. And this is going to be a long-term loan. I won't see that money back until January of 2023. So definitely want to cover that now. I only leave negatives hanging if it's specifically credit cards. I have 2 subscriptions, and that's always on budget. In this sheet, I kind of grouped miscellaneous and Vegas together because I didn't have any more rows. This used to be a little alien, and now it's a skull because of Halloween. Just wanted to point that out to you because it's just so dang cute. So the reason I had spent extra on Vegas in October is because I had booked a hotel over 6 months ago for my trip to a music festival in Vegas. And then they barely told me, like, oh, we overbooked, you have to find someplace else to go. And obviously, closer to an event or closer to the time you need to be there, it's going to be more expensive. So I had to get a refund, and then I had to book a new room, and that was an extra $82, which I think was unfair. Like, I feel like the hotel, the original hotel, they should have given me the difference to cover the other hotel for the inconvenience. But I didn't fight it. I didn't try to haggle with them or whatever. I just paid for it. And then under miscellaneous, I forgot also in September, I had a bunch of credit card fraud, like in the hundreds. Oh man, there was a lot going on in September. I got reimbursed though by the end of the month, so that was good. The only miscellaneous thing I bought was I bought a wireless mouse for my laptop, which I'm actually using as I speak. And then my work roped me into fantasy football, which I didn't know there was a buy-in. I had to pay $50 for that, and I haven't even won any games yet. To be fair, I also don't know anything about football, but still. That's probably $50 that I'm never going to see back. It's okay. Here's this chart that'll show you everything overall. Income, I came on pretty close. Investing, I was spot on. Sinking funds, lost money. Debt, and then my expenses were super high. My expenses for this month were $5,341.63. First of all, I'm glad the way that things worked out that I was able to cover it. And even if my insurance had not ended up giving me more money than I needed for my used car, I still would have been able to cover it with my savings had I needed to. And I did pull obviously from savings this month. So I'm grateful that I just had the resources to be able to do that. I'm grateful that I have good credit and that I'm able to put things on my credit card when I need to and know that it'll all be taken care of when it's all said and done. But it's still it's, hopefully it'll be a long time before I need to spend that much in a month again, because that was 80% of my income. But I do have much higher hopes for October. Before we get into that, let me just show you my updated net worth. Now in September, my net worth went up by $1,000 and put me at negative $11,045.20. But the market was crashing again. I checked my accounts October 1st and I lost thousands of dollars in my investments because things are just, I thought they were recovering, but I guess they're going down again. So in this YNAB sheet, I do not track the value of my home because I get an inflated head whenever I look at it and see that my net worth is so high. And it's just not good for me. It's not then I want to make irresponsible decisions, even though it's all tied up in my house and it doesn't really count. So the reason I'm showing you this October 1st is because it has September 30th numbers. So it's actually the end of the month, even though it says October 1st. I know it's a weird thing that I have to clarify every single time. And at this point, I should probably just fix it to say September 30th or something instead, but whatever. If you do count my house, it says that my net worth is $108,277.76. But look at that. That's 63% my house. You know what I'm saying? So I prefer to go by this and view my house simply as a liability because obviously, as you saw this month, it cost me more money than it makes me. As of September 30th, I have spent $30,131.40. Anyway, I hope your September was a lot more successful than mine. I hope you have a great October. I will see you in the October mid-month check-in. Don't forget to make sure you're registered to vote, and I will see y'all later. Bye.